Hello and welcome to City Edition, the City of Bend's video news magazine. I'm Justin Feinstone. It's called Every 15 Minutes, a powerful program that teaches the consequences of teen drinking and driving. Take a look as Bend Fire and Rescue and the Bend Police Department present the program to students at Summit High School.
What we saw today was a very realistic simulation of a two-vehicle crash caused by a driver under the influence of alcohol. As a result of the crash, the driver was arrested, 2 people were critically injured, and 1 was killed.
We're at the time of year when there's a temptation for a lot of students, especially juniors and seniors with prom and certainly graduation, to make some very, very poor decisions regarding their partying and drugs and alcohol and driving. And so this is meant to be a realistic look at what the worst case scenario could be and to make them think twice before doing something that we hope they don't do.
The actors in this were students from Summit High School. They were students selected from the student body based on leadership potential, and also students that could act realistically with a drama background. That way, when the student body that was assembled to watch saw the students, they realized that these weren't just random strangers. These were people that they knew, people they were friends with and went to school with.
You know, actually, Bend Fire and Rescue came to us earlier in the year and ran this past me, and we thought about it, talked about it, and it seemed like something that we've never had here at Summit before, and that it might be something very good for our students.
Having the police and the firemen and everyone involved obviously means that they care a lot about what we're doing. They obviously care about us. Like, this isn't some assembly thrown together. This has taken a lot of time. Everyone has put a lot of work into it.
But as the tarps came off the wrecked cars and students saw the bodies in the cars, and as police and fire began to respond, then they started thinking, and you could tell that they were thinking. Some were affected greatly, I think.
Ideally, we like to have a scene time of no more than 10 minutes. In this case, it was impossible based on the amount of damage and the fact that they had to not only cut off the doors, but also had to cut off the roof of the vehicle in order to extricate the victims.
Well, we knew it was going to be a drunk driving assembly, so watching Skylar get out all drunk, like, everyone thought that was funny. They thought Officer Maunder was funny, but then when we saw that Lila was in there dead, she wasn't moving. When they opened up the car door and you could kind of see her arm hanging out, I think that's when it started to become real for people.
The students hadn't been prepared in any way for what they were going to see. They didn't know what all was going to happen today. And it very quickly changed from a lighthearted atmosphere to a more serious one. And when they pulled the blanket over the face of the dead student, the audience went completely silent.
And when the parents came out to identify the deceased, who they also know, that's when this whole thing became the most real, because they were feeling with their hearts as well as seeing it, and hopefully through their hearts and their minds they'll begin to make some good decisions.
It is the shock treatment to some degree, but it's also trying to communicate to the students that these aren't just things that happen to other people. They can happen to your friends, they can happen to the family, they can happen to you.
I hope this works, because you shouldn't be driving drunk. No one should be driving drunk. There's just no reason for it. There's no reason for people being dead.